of being able to remove quizzes. So let's do that. So if we go to the server side, what we'd like to be able to do is not only create quizzes, right, and retrieve quizzes and whatnot, we'd like to delete them. So to delete, we're going to be listening for an incoming delete, right? And usually to delete, the URL pattern will be that you're going to pass me the ID of what you want to remove, right? So we get the request and response here, and we can find out what the quiz ID is, right, using the same code right here. Once we have that, we would like to be able to go out to the service and do a delete quiz, and we would pass the quiz ID, and then maybe just response dot send back a 200, saying that it was successful. Okay, in the delete quiz, we can create the method. There it is. And let's move it further down, maybe. And what we could do, right? Notice that it's using the old ES5 syntax instead of the new ES6 syntax. Let's keep it. That's fine. You can interchange them. What we're going to do here is that we're going to filter the quiz, and it's going to skip over the quiz whose ID is the one we want to remove. So we'll say quizzes is equal to quizzes, and then filter. Here's the quiz, and we're only going to keep the one where the quiz underscore ID is different than the quiz ID that we want to remove. Okay, and we're going to export this as an API so that the controller can use it, and now that works. I'm going to restart the server. Oops. I guess I have an error somewhere. Online controller line here. Delete. Oh, I need to close this. Okay. Let's try it again.
Yep.
Oh, here. You have a question? I'm sorry. Oh, we don't need this export, right? Because we are exporting it here. Restart. Okay, so on the client side, somebody have a question? Nope. Okay. So on the client side, what we can do is when we are rendering the quizzes, right, we could add maybe like a delete button right in front of these, right, button, and this is delete, right, so that's going to render in front of each one of the quizzes, right, so that we, if we click on it, maybe we can remove that particular quiz. So we would like to maybe call on the component a function called delete quiz that takes as argument the actual quiz object, and then maybe we would like to be able to remove that quiz. Right now we're going to just print out the question of that. Actually, no, the question of the title. Okay. So in the delete, as we can call here on the click, we can click delete quiz, and we can pass the actual object that we are deleting. So let's see if we click that. If we click on the delete, it's not working. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, there it is. So notice it says quiz 1, quiz 2. Okay. So let's do the delete. So the delete will be to invoke here in the service the delete. Right? And it'll look something like this. And say service.delete quiz, delete quiz. I'm going to pass the ID of the quiz. Okay, which doesn't exist right now, right? And then what we'll do, right, is this is just going to come back with a status, which we're going to ignore. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do this.quizzes is just going to do the filter. I was going to say this.quizzes, filter, right? The quiz. We're going to skip over the quiz where the quiz ID is. We're only going to keep the ones where there are different between. Like we should, I guess we should call this quiz deleted. And this is quiz deleted dot underscore ID. I'm going to remove that one. Okay, so we haven't implemented that. Let's implement over here. Say it says I don't know if it's asking me to create the method. Yes, create the method. But why is it not? All right, there it is. I think it created it here. Let's use the new syntax. And what does it do? It's going to do a fetch, just like that, right? But it's going to append the ID here at the end. There it is, underscore ID. Okay. We don't know if it's a string. What is it complaining about? Fields of variable names must be lowercase. Okay, so let's remove the underscore. Okay. All right, so let's try it out. We have other errors here. Quizzes component, there it is. Then, are we not returning? Oh yeah, we're using this curly bracket, so we're not returning, and we don't need this. Okay, now it's okay. All right, so let's try it out. So let's refresh. Let's delete a quiz. It looks like it's removing it. Notice that if we refresh, it did not work. What? We should have removed it. Let's go look at the network, see if you're getting a delete. Click on it. Okay, so we are getting a delete. We are sending the delete. But if we refresh, the array doesn't seem to have modified. So the server side doesn't seem to be working. Let's see, quizzes equal quizzes filter quiz underscore ID. All right, let's put a breakpoint here. Set breakpoint line. Let's restart the server, but in debug mode. Let's refresh this. Let's click here, delete. Oh, it didn't hit it. It did not come here. Huh. It did not come here. The control. Let's put a breakpoint on the controller. Here's a delete. Here's a delete. Let's put a breakpoint right here.
Should it say const instead of function? I mean, does that matter?
Yeah, well, this is using the old syntax. I'm not quite sure if that's the problem.
Okay.
You know, we should be able to interchange the two syntax. So let's see if something wrong with our code first. Let's try it again. Let's refresh. Click here. Huh, it doesn't seem to be hitting it. Are we sending a delete? Header? Oh, it's a get. That's wrong. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to our service, quiz service. Yeah, this delete is not sending a delete. This is sending a get, the default get. So this is method is a delete. There we go. Let's try it again. Let's restart the server. Actually, we don't need to restart it. Refresh. Let's click on the delete. Okay, now we're making it into the server, and we can continue, continue on the client. Let's see what's going on. I think we're getting an error. Promise, blah, blah, blah. Expect. Okay, so notice that we're expecting JSON, but the network that came back was a 200. Right, so there was nothing in the preview in the body, right, to parse. So this is not JSON. So so we could do on the client in the delete, right? So what we could do is that we can just not parse the JSON. Okay, so let's refresh. Notice that we have one less quiz because delete was successful. It's just that we didn't know how to parse it correctly in the client. Let's try it again. So delete. I'm going to take out these breakpoints. Continue. Take out the breakpoints. Continue. So on the client, this time we didn't get an error, right? And notice that we are in sync. The client and the server are in sync. We can create a quiz, 2 quizzes. Let's refresh. Make sure that those are being added to the server. So the push is working. And if we remove one and we refresh, notice that we are indeed deleting. Perfect. Excellent.
And just to confirm, we don't need this for assignment 8, right?
Yeah, no. Right. So a faculty would be able to do this, right? A student would not be able to create and delete quizzes.
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
no. Like, I didn't see it there. Am I
no. I'm just I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I wanted to show you not only how to do read operations, but also write operations on using Node.js. Yeah, next week you'll be asked to use post and delete and put and things like that. Not quite what we're doing here, but the same kinds of techniques.